Perfect copy. On page 3, today we will study two kinds of truth. Handouts of last week. It's working?
Yeah.
Okay. Today we will study two kinds of truth recognized in Buddhism or in the teachings of the Buddha. Whenever people talk about truth, they say that there is only one truth and different people interpret it in different ways. But since different people interpret it in different ways, there can be not one truth but many truths. And if you ask a Christian what truth is, you will get one answer, and if you ask a Buddhist, you get a different answer, and if you ask a Hindu, still another different answer. So truth can be different depending on what kind of person you ask. So according to Buddhism, truth means simply something that is true, that is real. that is true or that is real either in the conventional sense or in ultimate sense. Some things are true only according to the convention, only according to the usage or mode of expression accepted by, say, certain group of people or accepted by, say, people at large. And some are true according to the ultimate sense. So, whether it is true according to convention or according to ultimate sense, it is called truth, or it is called reality in Buddhism. Since something which is true, which is real, is called truth, truth need not be good only. Truth need not be a lofty thing only. It can be anything which is true as it is described. And it is supported by the fact that craving, which is an unwholesome mental state, is taught by the Buddha as the second noble truth. So the second noble truth is craving. So craving is unwholesome mental state which gives bad results, and so which is bad, which is not good, which is not lofty, but it is called truth in Buddhism. So truth need not be good or lofty. It may be good or it may be bad. It may be lofty or it may be lowly, but it must be true. See, when I say fire burns, the burning is the truth of fire. So that is truth. So in Buddhism, craving is the truth. Now mindfulness, you all practice mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness is one truth, wisdom, truth, concentration, truth, and so on. So in Buddhism, truth need not be good only, so either good or bad, or lofty or lowly. Whatever is true in the conventional sense or in the ultimate sense is truth. So in Buddhism, two kinds of truth are recognized. So the first is conventional truth, and the second, ultimate truth. We can call truth reality, so they are interchangeable. So conventional reality or ultimate reality. Something which is true according to conventional sense, and something which is true according to ultimate sense. So there are always these two kinds of truth in the world. Now what is conventional truth? Conventional truth is that which conforms to the convention or usage of the world. Now, in the beginning, in the early days of a human life on this earth, see, people by common consent accepted a name for something, and that name was accepted by all people, and so they called that thing by that name. For example, let's say a cat. So an animal, a certain kind of animal is designated as a cat, and that was accepted by all people. So if you want to refer to that animal, you say the word cat. So that is convention. So convention is something which is accepted by the people at large. It is accepted by common consent. Now, I was afraid of using the expression common consent before, but lately, to be exact, just yesterday I picked up this book, and there that very expression is given. So I was glad. It is said there, people have simply agreed by common consent that a particular group of written letters or oral sounds shall represent or stand for a particular object or idea. So we can use common consent. That is agreement by all people. Let us call this a man, let us call this a woman, let us call this a cat, a dog, and so on. So that is conventional truth. So when I say, suppose there is a cat here, and I say there is a cat, then I am telling you the truth. I am not telling you a lie, because the cat, the animal which is accepted as a cat is there. So that is one kind of truth, which is conventional truth or say conventional reality. So here I give an example of a car. So how did you come here? You came in a car. So when you say you came in a car, you are not lying to me. You are telling the truth, the conventional truth. It's true that you came in a car. So the car, the convention, or the name car, or the thing represented by the name car is a reality, conventional reality. The same with a house, a man, a woman. You can give as many examples as you like. So everything in the world which is given a name can be a conventional truth. And this conventional truth is called Sammuti Satya in Pali. Now, I want you to be familiar with this word, Sammuti Satya. Sammuti means just common consent, a common agreement. Sammuti Satya. Satya means truth. You may have met with a phrase, Chattari Ariya Satyani. The word Satya is truth. So it is called Sammuti Satya. So that is conventional reality. And it is also called what? Panyati. Panyati is translated as concept. Jnana Moli, in his translation of Visuddhimagga, the path to purification, gives some information about the concept, Panyati, and then he concluded that all this shows that the word Panyati carries the meanings of either appellation or concept or both together, and that no English word quite corresponds. So there is no English word which corresponds squarely with the word Panyati, but let us accept the word concept as the translation of this word. So Panyati in contrast to Paramattha, which will come next. So it is called, or the conventional truth is also called Panyati. And there are two kinds of Panyati. Now this much I think you need to understand here, because if you are impatient, if you want to know more about Panyati, you can read the 8th chapter of this book, the comprehensive. The end of the 8th chapter, that section deals with the Panyati or conventions, or Sammuti Satya. So here we need to understand just two kinds of Panyati, two kinds of concepts. The first one is called Nama Panyati. Nama here means name. Now the word nama means name or mind, mental phenomena. But here it means name. So therefore nama panyati means name concept. So name concept means what? Just names given to the objects. These names makes the things known. Therefore they are called in Pali nama panyati. Now the word panyati has two meanings. One is active and the other is passive. So panyati means something that makes some other thing known. When we say a car, the name a car makes the real car known. So by the word car we know the real thing, a vehicle with four wheels and so on. So panyati here means something that makes some other thing known. Is some name that makes things known. So nama panyati is names given to objects. So you can have thousands and thousands of nama panyatis. So here in this room you can have how many panyatis? 10, 20, 30, right? So any name given to a thing or a being is called nama panyati. A man, a woman, a house, a camera, a tape recorder, a book, a desk. So they are all nama panyati. And the second one is called atta panyati. Now, atta means here a thing. So atta panyati, thing concept. That means the objects conveyed by the names or concepts. That means the objects represented by these names. They are called panyati because they are made known. So here we get the passive meaning of the word panyati. Sometimes it is good to have two meanings to a word, but sometimes it is confusing. Because it can mean both things. So we have to understand in which meaning it is used in a given context. So in the word atta panyati, the word panyati means something which is made known. So something which is made known by the nama panyati, by the name. Okay, let us take the example car. So we have the name a car, and we have the thing which we call a car. So that thing is atta panyati, thing concept, and the name car is nama panyati. So in most cases there are always these two panyatis going together, nama panyati and atta panyati. A house. So the name house is nama panyati, and the real house, the house itself, is atta panyati, like that. A man. Name man is nama panyati, and the person, the man, is atta panyati. So in most cases we can get both nama panyati and atta panyati for these things. Now when we say objects, we mean both mental and physical objects. So mental states are also objects, and material things are also objects. Okay, and what about the name given to a mental state, say called contact? In Pali, it is phassa. So the contact which is given to the mental contact, the contact of mind with the object. Can we get two paññattis there, nama paññatti and atha paññatti? We have not come to ultimate truth yet, right? So the contact or the Pali Phassa is one of the ultimate realities. So in that case, in the case of Phassa, we can have nama paññatti because it is a name, but the contact itself is not called atha paññatti. It is paramattha. It is ultimate truth. So with regard to names given to those belonging to ultimate truth, we can have nama paññatti and paramattha. We call paramattha ultimate truth, not nama paññatti and atha paññatti. But with regard to other things, those that do not belong to ultimate reality, there can be these two concepts or paññattis, nama paññatti and atha paññatti. So you can see many nama paññattis and atha paññattis all around you. And these concepts, these conventional usages, we cannot do away with. We cannot avoid using conventional terms, conventional language when we communicate with other people. That is because we live in this conventional world, and so we have to use the terms of convention to make the meanings known to other people. Otherwise, there will be a great confusion. Say, a man is a group of the 5 aggregates, a woman is also a group of 5 aggregates, and so if I say a group of 5 aggregates comes to the monastery, so you don't know whether it is a man or a woman. So we cannot do away with the conventional terms when we speak, when we communicate with each other. But we must understand what ultimate reality we are talking about when we use these conventional terms. Okay, so these are called concepts, and that concept is said to be out of time, beyond time, timeless. There are people who want to argue against this. Now, paññatti or convention or concept has no existence of its own, in its own right. What is paññatti? You cannot grasp it with your hands. Say a name is a name. We cannot say that a name arises and then stays for some time and disappears. A name is a name because it is in our minds. I think in this book, mental construction, parikapana, they are products of mental construction. So we think of them as something, and then we use that designation. So since it exists, or it is said to exist only in our minds, it has no reality. It has no existence. That is why it cannot be said that concept is past, or concept is present, or concept is future. It is beyond this time frame, right? So that is why paññatti is said to be timeless. Only those phenomena which have an arising and then the static stage and then the disappearing stage, only those that have these three stages are said to be existing. Those that do not have these three phases of existence, arising, aging, let's say aging, arising, aging, and dying. So if something has not these three phases of existence, we do not say that it exists. Now, the convention or the names given to the things, and then the things themselves are said to be non-existent in reality. Now, as a man you exist. So a man is a convention, right? A man is concept. So the name is a concept, and the person is also a concept. But we say that the person does not really exist. What exists is the five aggregates. But we call this five aggregate a group of five aggregates: a man, a woman, a person, a human being, and so on. So a man or a woman or an animal or whatever is only our mental projections or mental construction. So we think of them as existing, although actually they do not exist in the ultimate sense. See, in the conventional sense they exist. Since concepts have no arising, no aging, and no disappearing, they are said to be out of time. They are said to be timeless. So Panyati is said to be timeless, like Nibbana. So Nibbana has no beginning, no arising, so it has no disappearing, no end. That's why Nibbana is also called timeless. So in the same way, Panyati is timeless. Now we may say that if we call something by some name, say that arises at that moment. Let's take the car. This is my favorite example. So somebody invented a car, right? And then he calls it a car, and then other people also call it after him. So you may argue that the convention or the Panyati car arises at that time. But actually, the Panyati is, since the Panyati is in your mind only, and not the ultimate thing, we cannot say that it arises, it arose at that moment, or it exists. We can understand more with names. So you give a name to a child, and you call it by that name. But that name, we cannot say that when that name first came into being. And then when people use that name, it seems to exist. And then when people say forget that name, it seems to disappear, right? But later on, somebody will come and say there was such a person by this name, say 100 years ago. Then we remember that name again. So that name, which is a concept, is beyond time. So it is not present, not past, and not future. So it is timeless. Okay, the second one, the ultimate truth. We are more concerned with ultimate truth because Abhidhamma deals with ultimate truth. So what is ultimate truth? Ultimate truth is that which conforms to reality. Now in this book, Comprehensive Manual, it is said that if it is reducible, it is not an ultimate truth. So ultimate truth is that which is irreducible. So the last thing, and you cannot reduce it any further, and that is the ultimate truth. Now, a person, let's say a man. So a man is, the name man is a name concept, and the person is a thing concept. What is real in that person is the five aggregates. So these five aggregates have a beginning and also the age, and then ultimately they die. So they have this existence of their own, existence in their own right, and so they are called ultimate reality. And if we reduce what we call a person to the irreducible elements, then we get, say, five aggregates, or say we get mind and matter. And so the five aggregates are actually the members of these five aggregates are called ultimate truth, because they are real and they have a real existence. They have the existence of in their own way. Now consciousness means citta. So citta is said to be an ultimate truth because it really is, and it has the three phases of existence: the arising, aging, and disappearing. So after remaining for these three phases, or these three stages, the consciousness, one consciousness disappears, and then another consciousness arises. Since the consciousness has a big the arising and then aging and disappearing, we say that it exists. It exists in an ultimate sense. So ultimate truth is that which conforms to reality, and it is called Paramattha-saṅgaha in Pali. Paramattha. Now we'll define it later. So in Pali it is called Paramattha. And this word Paramattha is defined as the ultimate or correct thing, or we can say ultimate or correct reality. Why? Because it is real as it is. It is not otherwise than is stated. It is not turned round. It is not the reverse of what it is said to be. It is not the opposite of what it is said to be. It is not wrong. So that is what we call the ultimate thing or ultimate truth. So when we say there is consciousness, there is really consciousness. Consciousness really exists, and so consciousness is said to be the ultimate truth. So this ultimate truth is not like things at magic shows or mirage, etc. So at magic shows they will produce something out of nothing, and we think that they are producing a real thing, but actually they are tricks. But sometimes they are they seem so real that we want to believe that they are producing real things. But you may be familiar with tricks of magic. So things shown at magic shows are not real. They are just illusions. In the same way, what we call a man or a woman or a car or a house is an illusion. It is not the real thing. But what is real is just the components of contained in these things. and I think you have seen the mirage, not the aircraft. So it's like water. So from a distance, people who see it may think there is water there, and so you follow the water, and you never get to that place. So it moves with yourself. It is in Pali it is called, let's see, deer's craving or something like that. The deer may see the mirage in the distance, and then when they were thirsty, they will follow the mirage until they fall and die. So a mirage is not the real thing, but if you have seen it, it looks like it is real. It looks like there is water up there, and then when you get closer and closer to it, it moves farther and farther away from you. So that is an illusion. So Paramattha, or the ultimate thing, is not like that. It is real, and it really exists. And so that is why it is called ultimate thing, or correct thing. And another meaning of Paramattha is that it can be seen by oneself. It can be realized by oneself. Or we can say it is to be seen by oneself. It is to be experienced by oneself. So the ultimate realities can be seen by ourselves, by us, and can be experienced by us. So not like things known from hearsay, which may or may not be true. So when we hear something about something from somebody, that may or may not be true, because it is hearsay. We cannot be sure that it is really true. It may be true or it may be not, because we have not seen it ourselves. Once we see it ourselves, we see it for ourselves, then we know it really is. So it is true. But things we know from hearsay, things we know from report from others, may or may not be true, and so they are not called Paramattha. So in order to be called Paramattha, they must be seen by ourselves. They can be seen by ourselves. They can be experienced by ourselves. Now, take consciousness. Especially when you practice meditation, you know that there is consciousness in you, and sometimes you are mindful of your consciousness, mindful of your mind going out here and there, and that is your mindful of consciousness. So you can experience, or you can see it for yourself through experience, not through reading books, not through talks, attending talks, not just by speculating, but by direct experience you can see them. So some things which can be and which is to be seen by ourselves, to be experienced by ourselves, is called the ultimate truth, or the ultimate thing. For example, feeling. It's too real, right? you sit for meditation, and after some time you get pain here and there, and sometimes it becomes so intense that you have to give up, something like that. So it's very real. You can experience it, and so you know that there is feeling. There is, say, painful feeling. Or if you are happy, there is, say, pleasurable feeling. So you know it for yourself, because you have experienced it yourself. You don't have to go to another person to verify it. So what can be verified by oneself through direct experience is also called ultimate reality. So ultimate reality can be verified by one's own experience. Now, this definition shows that until we see them for ourselves, they are not ultimate realities for us. For example, Nibbana, right? Nibbana is the highest of the ultimate realities. Until we see Nibbana for ourselves, until we realize it for ourselves, it is not yet ultimate reality for us. Now we say, may I attain Nibbana, or may you attain Nibbana, and I do some meritorious deeds because I want to get to Nibbana or something like that. We always say that. So when we say Nibbana, the Nibbana we are taking in our mind is not the real Nibbana, but just the name or concept Nibbana. But when we see it for ourselves, when we experience the enlightenment for ourselves, then we will have no Nibbana through direct experience, and only then will Nibbana become ultimate reality for us. So until we reach that stage, Nibbana, although it is actually an ultimate reality, is not yet ultimate reality for us. So something to become an ultimate reality, it must be real as it is stated. So it must be not otherwise than is stated. If it is said that there is consciousness, there is consciousness. Consciousness exists, and also it must be it is to be experienced by oneself. It is to be seen by oneself through direct experience. Now, there are similes or examples to explain the ultimate reality and conventional reality. Now, let us see. The most obvious is a house. What we call a house, a building, is not ultimate reality. The ultimate reality is the parts. Because without these parts, there can be no house. If you take these parts one by one, you don't get a house. Similarly, a man. If you cut that man to pieces one by one, you lose the man, and there is just a heap of different parts of the body. So, what is real? It is just a simile. What is real in a man is the parts, and not the whole, because without the parts there is no whole. Another example is a circle of fire. So that's very, very obvious. Does circle of fire really exist? If I pick up a torch and make a circle, you say you see a circle of fire, right? Yeah. But you know that there is no circle of fire, right? So the light at different places on the circumference. And your mind takes all these and construct these into a whole circle. Actually, there is no circle of fire. Everybody knows that. So what you say the circle of fire is panjati. It does not really exist. What really exists is the light of the fire at different places, one at a time, one at a moment. But we are so adept at constructing these thoughts or these images into one whole that we think we see a circle of fire. but actually we don't see the circle of fire. And also, that is because our mind works very, very fast, and we don't realize it when we are ordinarily talking or speaking or something like that. But when we consider a child learning to read, and then his ability to read when he grows up, you can see how mind works fast. Now, when you teach a child to read, it has to spell, right? One by one. It cannot read the word right away. So let's say T-O-W. So he has to spell it T-O-W-2. It takes some time, right, for the child to read the word two. But now you can read it right away. You don't have to think of anything. You don't have to construct, or you think that you don't have to construct it. It like second nature to you. You just read the word two, or a long word like comprehensive, or say meditation, or whatever. But in order to be able to say comprehensive, you have to see all the letters one by one. So, and then your mind construct or composes all these letters into one whole, and then you say comprehensive. So for a child it may take say 2 seconds, but for you it doesn't take even a second. So there is this kind of thinking always there. So with things familiar to us, we are not aware of that thinking. But with things unfamiliar to us, we still have to think of something, right? So, and then a line of ends. Is there a line of ends? You take the individual ends away and you lose the line. There is no line of ends, but people say there is a line of ends, or I see a line of ends, right? So our mind constructs it into a line, but actually there is no line. So a line is a concept. A line is an illusion. Only the individual ends are real. And then a piece of rope. A piece of rope is made of what do you call that? Small fibers or strands, right? Yeah. So if you take the small strands one by one, so if you take the individual fibers from the rope, you don't have a rope at all. So what really exists is just the small strands, just the small threads. But you turn it around and then you make it into a rope and you say, there is the rope. So what you call a rope is actually an illusion. What really exists is the threads, the small fibers. And you look at the river and you think that the water is always there, right? But you know that every second there is new water flowing. So there are many similes to illustrate the ultimate truth and conventional truth. These are just similes because, for example, a car. So we say that a car is a convention and the parts are ultimate truth. But actually, even the parts are not ultimate truth yet, right? If we break down to the smallest particle, then that smallest particle becomes the ultimate truth. Say the smallest particle of matter. So that really is the ultimate truth. Okay, now, so there are two kinds of truth: the conventional truth and ultimate truth. And Abhidhamma deals with, or mostly deals with, ultimate truth. I say mostly because there are 7 books of Abhidhamma and 1 book deals with concepts. Designation of types of beings. That book deals with, does not deal with ultimate truth, but that book is about persons, kinds of persons. But let's say Abhidhamma deals mostly with the ultimate truth. And there are 4 kinds of ultimate truth accepted in Abhidhamma. And the first is what? Citta. Citta is translated as consciousness. What is Citta? Citta is a pure awareness of the object, just the awareness of the object. Here awareness means just pure awareness, not like awareness we use in meditation. In meditation we use the word awareness, right? That awareness is mindfulness actually. But here, in defining the word citta, awareness means just a bare awareness. Like, oh, it is there, knowing that it is there, or something like that. That pure or bare awareness of the object is what is called citta in Abhidhamma. So the word consciousness is not an adequate word for the Pali word citta, but there is no better word for it, and so we have to accept this as a translation of the word citta. So whenever we use consciousness, please understand in that Abhidhamma sense, and not in what do you call it, in the sense known by common people. So consciousness is the pure or bare awareness of the object, like water which is clear, no color. And it is never without an object. So citta is never without an object. So according to Abhidhamma, we cannot block our mind from objects. Even though we are fast asleep, there is this flow of consciousness going on, and so long as there is consciousness, there is the object of that consciousness. That object is obscure, so it is not. We are not aware of that object, but actually there is an object, and that object serves as something for the consciousness, say, to hold on to. So even when we are fast asleep, even when we have fainted, or let's say even when we are under anesthesia, there is consciousness going on. So consciousness is never without an object, and it is always with us. Now, whether we are asleep or whether we are awake, or whatever we are doing, there is always consciousness. So in our life, there is not a single moment when we are without consciousness. Conventionally we say he is unconscious. So that means he has lost consciousness. In an ordinary sense, yes. But according to Abhidhamma, he still has consciousness. That is awareness of the object. In that case, awareness of the obscure object. So, Citta is never without an object, and Citta is always with us. Actually, we accept, we Buddhists accept rebirth. So Citta always go on and on and on. Not that it is permanent, but this flow of Citta, this continuity of Citta goes on and on and on. So Citta is always with us. And then there are synonyms for the word Citta, and I think you should understand these words. The first one is what? Vijnana. In the dependent origination, the vijnana is used. Vijnana paccaya, sankhara paccaya vijnana. So vijnana means Citta. Sometimes mana, M-A-N-A. Sometimes Citta is also used. You will find the word Cetasika. Next ultimate reality is Cetasika. There you have Citta, right? Citta means mind. So Citta. And then Manasa. Sometimes mind is called, consciousness is called, or Citta is called Manasa. Sometimes even it is called Hadaya. Hadaya means heart. Both in English and in Pali, or maybe in other languages as well. The heart and mind are connected. The word heart is a synonym for consciousness or Citta, or mind. That he has a good heart or something like that. And that means not the physical heart. He has a good mind, he has a good frame of mind. So these words are the synonyms of the word Citta. Sometimes, especially when something is written in verses, they may use these synonyms to conform to the meter of the verse. Say sometimes you need only 2 syllables, or sometimes you need 3 syllables. So when you need 3 syllables, you will use vijnana. And when there are only space for only 2 syllables, then you may use Citta or mana, something like that. So these are the synonyms of Citta. And there are 89 or 121 types of Citta, or consciousness, recognized in Abhidhamma, or taught in Abhidhamma. So in this first chapter, we will study the different types of consciousness in detail. Now the second ultimate reality is Cetasika. You find the word Citta there. So they are translated as mental factors, mental concomitants, or maybe by some other names also. The definition is those which are yoked on Citta, or which are yoked with Citta. That means which are associated with Citta. And that means which arise together with Citta, depending on it. That is why they are called Cetasika. So Citta is synonym for Citta, and those that depend on Citta for their arising are called Cetasika. So Cetasikas are those that arise together or at the same time with Citta. And only when Citta arises can they arise. If there is no Citta arising, they cannot arise. Now, Citta and Cetasika arise at the same moment, at the same time. But if there is no Citta, there can be no Cetasikas. Now, the bare awareness of the object, that is like a connection between you are yourself and the object. If there is no such connection, how can there be the experience of that object? How can there be feeling for that object? How can there be understanding that object? Or how can there be remembering that object? How can there be attachment to that object? And so, in order for these mental states to arise, there needs to be that citta. And citta is something like a connection between you and the object. So, cittas are those that depend, cetasikas are those that depend on citta for their arising. So they arise together with citta. Okay, there are 4 characteristics of cetasikas. Actually, you will learn these characteristics in the 2nd chapter. But just a taste of what cetasika is, I put them here. So, 1, they must arise together with citta at the same moment, at the same time. And they must perish, they must disappear together with citta. So they arise with citta, they disappear with citta together. And then they must have the same object as citta. If the citta takes, say, visible object as object, then cetasikas also take that as an object. So there is no such thing as, say, citta takes one object and cetasikas take another. That's impossible. So they must have the same object. They must take the same object as citta takes. And last, they must have the common base. Common base means, for example, seeing. Seeing consciousness depends on the eye, right? If you have no eyes, you do not see. There will be no seeing consciousness. So seeing consciousness is said to depend on the eye. Hearing consciousness on the ear. And smelling consciousness on the nose. And tasting consciousness on the tongue. What do you call it? Touching consciousness on the body. And knowing consciousness on the mind. So they must have a common base. That means if citta depends upon the eye, cetasikas must also depend on the eye. So these are the 4 characteristics. So if any, say, phenomenon answers to these 4 characteristics, then that phenomenon is called a cetasika. Now there are some material properties that arise together with citta and that perish together with citta. But they do not take object and they do not have common basis. So they are not called cetasikas. You will understand them later. So these are the 4 characteristics, and in order to know whether something is a cetasika or not, we can check with these 4 characteristics. If they have these 4 characteristics, then we can say that they are cetasikas. So arising simultaneously with citta, disappearing simultaneously with citta, having the same object with citta, and having the common base, or depending on the same base as the citta. And how many cetasikas are there? 52. So 52 cetasikas are recognized in Abhidhamma. Cetasikas we will study in the 2nd chapter of this manual. And the 3rd reality is called Rupa. The Pali word is Rupa and English translation is matter. What is Rupa? Now, Rupa is that which changes when coming into contact with adverse conditions, such as cold, heat, etc. So, especially the Rupa in your body. So when you go in the sun and it is hot, there is one kind of one continuity of, say, material properties. Then you go under a shade, and then you have another kind of material properties. And if you take shower, then another kind, and so on. So that which changes with cold, heat, hunger, thirst, bites of insects, so that is called rupa or matter. And change here means obvious or discernible change, because mind changes more quickly than matter. But mind is not called rupa, because the change of mind is not so evident, not so obvious as the change of rupa. So only the change which is obvious, which is easy to see, which is discernible, is meant to be changed here. So that which changes with these adverse conditions is called a rupa, or matter. And it exists in living beings as well as in outside things. So there is rupa in our bodies, and there is rupa in the house, in the car, in the trees, and so on. And so rupa is both internal and external. So rupa exists both in living beings and in outside things. But citta and cittasika arise only in living beings. And it has no ability to cognize. It doesn't know. So you can hit the desk and it will not say, oh, I'm painful or something like that. So rupa has no ability to cognize. It does not know. It does not take objects, because it is the object itself, and so it does not take objects. So it has no ability to cognize. It does not know. And there are 28 kinds of matter or material properties recognized in Abhidhamma. So in Abhidhamma, the 28 material properties are taught. Although there may be different kinds of matter in our bodies, if we break them down to the ultimate realities, we get 28 kinds of matter. And about matter we will study in the 6th chapter. They are comparable to elements in chemistry. Anybody familiar with that chart? What you call periodic chart, right? Something like that. So here also there are 28 kinds of material properties, and they are grouped together in different ways, and like the chemical elements. So they are comparable to, but not exactly the same as elements in chemistry. Then number 4, the 4th ultimate truth is Nibbana. Is the highest aim of Buddhists. What is Samambona? Best, the highest best or something like that. Really good? Great is good. Oh, bonum comes from something like bona fide or good, right? Yeah. So the best. And it is defined as the extinction of desire, ill will, and delusion. Actually, it is the extinction of all mental defilements. It is like health or peace. Many people don't like the negative words used to describe Nibbana. I think we cannot avoid using negative terms, but we do not mean that Nibbana is a negative state simply because we use negative terms to describe it. So take health, for example. What is health? No disease, right? So freedom from disease, or having no disease, is called health. So health is a positive state. Do you think it is negative? No. So, but it can be described in absence of disease, absence of illness is health. So something like that. Peace also like that. So Nibbana is the extinction of desire, ill will, and delusion, and actually that means Nibbana is the extinction of all mental defilement. And also it is described as liberation or freedom from suffering. Or we can just say here also that extinction of suffering. Extinction of all suffering. And it is unconditioned. Now please note this. About 2 years ago, or maybe longer than that, you gave me an article on Paticca-samuppada. You remember that?
Yeah.
So in that, the author said that Nibbana is conditioned. I was very surprised. He said, Nibbana is uncompounded, but it is conditioned, he said. That is not correct. She did not understand the Pali word sankhata correctly. The word Nibbana is described as a-sankhata. A means not sankhata. And sankhata is translated as compounded by many authors. So she took that as a correct rendering, and so she accepted that Nibbana is uncompounded. Nibbana is not a compound of anything, but she said Nibbana is not unconditioned. But when Buddha described Nibbana, he used the word not made. Not made and unconditioned are the same. Along with the word asankata, another word used is akata. Akata means not made. So definitely Nibbana is unconditioned. There is no condition for Nibbana. Nibbana, we cannot say Nibbana exists, because if we say Nibbana exists, we mean that Nibbana has a beginning and it must have an end. And it is said that Nibbana has no beginning and no end. So Nibbana is not conditioned, unconditioned, and Nibbana is not composed of any component parts. So it is unconditioned. It cannot be adequately described in everyday terms. You know the simile of a fish and a tortoise. The tortoise, say, goes up to the land, and he walked about on the land, and went into the water again, and then he talked to the fish, and the fish asked him, what were you doing? Oh, I'm going up and then walk on the earth, and I saw trees or something like that. But the fish could not understand what that was, because it has never been on the land, or something like that. We have never been there, and so we cannot really understand what it is, and also it cannot be described adequately in everyday terms, because it is totally out of this world, and we always think in terms of this world, in terms of existence. You know, I always tell you, many people think that Nibbana is a place, some place or some realms to reach or to go to. And if we say Nibbana is the extinction of all suffering, and all suffering means extinction of all five aggregates, you may not want to go to Nibbana. You may not want to realize Nibbana. Because we always think in terms of existence. If we are going to go out of existence and not become anything again, would it be acceptable to you? So it cannot be described in every terms. Okay. Now, Nibbana is explained in the last section of 6th chapter in this manual. If you are impatient, then you can read those sections. So 6th chapter, last section. Okay, now the Four Noble Truths. We talk about truth, and up till now we left out the Four Noble Truths. So you may want to know how Four Noble Truths relate to the Four Noble, the Four Ultimate Truths. So here, the Noble Truth of Suffering means Cetas, Cetasikas, and Rupa. Supramundane Cetas are outside of Four Noble Truths. Strictly according to Abhidhamma, the supramundane Cetas are they do not belong to any of the Four Truths. Okay, number 2, the Noble Truth of Origin of Suffering. What is that? Craving. Craving is one of the 52 mental factors or Cetasikas. So second Noble Truth is a Cetasika, which is here craving, attachment. And the Noble Truth is the cessation of suffering, which is Nibbana. So the third Noble Truth is the fourth ultimate truth. And the fourth Noble Truth, the way leading to the cessation of suffering, or simply the Noble Eightfold Path. Where does it belong? Noble Eightfold Path is just a combination of 8 Cetasikas, 8 mental factors. So they belong to, or the fourth Noble Truth belongs to the second ultimate truth, right? So the Four Noble Truths are actually included in the Four Ultimate Truths, but not one on one. Say, the first Noble Truth belongs to the first Ultimate Truth, the second Ultimate Truth, and the third Ultimate Truth, because Cetas, Cetasikas, and Rupas. And the second Noble Truth belongs to the second Ultimate Truth. And the third Noble Truth belongs to the fourth Ultimate Truth. And the fourth Noble Truth belongs to second, right? Cetasika. Yeah. So the Four Noble Truths are included in the Four Ultimate Truths. Now, when Buddha taught, he taught in different ways, because his aim is for his listeners to understand and to realize the truth. So he taught in different ways, using different methods for different people. That is why we have so many teachings with different names, but actually they meet at some place and they are actually the same. Sometimes Buddha may use the word, say, aggregates to one group, but to another group he may use another word, say elements, or say sense basis, and so on. But actually they mean the same thing. So here also, the Four Noble Truths he taught in his first sermon. So the first Noble Truth of Suffering, origin of suffering, cessation of suffering, and the way leading to cessation of suffering. But in the Abhidhamma, he taught the Four Ultimate Truths. But they are the same. If you have questions, we have some time.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Could you explain about the connection or relationship between unconditioned anatta and compound, because it is difficult to understand that Nibbana is anatta and unconditioned.
Nibbana is what?
Is still anatta.
Anatta.
Right.
Oh. Anatta means not atta, right? Atta means a soul or a permanent entity. It is translated as self or soul or whatever. And Nibbana is not soul. That is why Nibbana is called anatta. But Nibbana has no causes. Nibbana does not depend on anything at all, any condition. That is why it is called unconditioned. It is not made by any causes. But since it is not ada, it is called anatta. Is that what you want to know?
May I ask you? And we say health, so the same thing like nirvana, because unconditioned, you don't feel anything, no suffering, health. When we say the concept of health, it means something like nirvana.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something we cannot find anywhere. Health, you don't find no place for health. Like nirvana, no place for nirvana.
Right.
Yeah.
We cannot say nirvana exists. Nirvana is here or nirvana is there. There is no place.
Yeah, no place for that.
Yeah.
So timeless and spaceless.
Right.
Yeah. So health, the same.
Something like health.
Yeah, something like health.
We can enjoy health, but when we come to define it, we find it difficult to do so. So we say, Nibbana is the absence of disease.
But
Something like that.
I don't understand like this. We have a body. When we don't feel suffering, sickness, we feel like we recognize health. But only Buddha can recognize nirvana, or at the state of Buddha, he doesn't recognize anything, nothing. We, a human being, we recognize health. Because of our body, we don't have the feeling of suffering. So we recognize health. But we don't recognize nirvana until we become Buddha. But when human beings become Buddha, so Buddha doesn't feel anything. So nirvana is a state that no feeling at all.
Right. Once a monk asked the Venerable Sīlānanda whether Nibbana has any feeling. And then Sīlānanda said no. So actually we do not enjoy Nibbana. Even if we become enlightened, we can say we experience it, but we do not enjoy it, because we cannot enjoy, or we do not suffer of Nibbana, but just Nibbana is a state of, they say, peace.
Yeah. But there is a book from Europe. They say that the state of nirvana is a kind of nihilism. So, because you don't feel anything, zero. So is it the same thing? But what's the difference when they say nihilism and nirvana?
I don't know what nihilism is.
Nihilism is a kind of philosophical term telling that reducing to zero to nothing, nothing, no feeling, nothing, and nothing at all. That's the state.
So it is said that when a Buddha or an Arahant dies, there is no more rebirth for him,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that means no more say, existence for him, no more life for him. So he just disappeared.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you call it nihilism or not. But whether it is nihilism or not, Nibbana is Nibbana.
Yes.
And you may like it or you may not like it. That is your business. But
Yes.
Nibbana is Nibbana. That's why I told you, you may not like it if you really know what Nibbana is. So,
Is there chitta within Nibbana?
no. Nibbana is one ultimate reality. And if there is chitta in Nibbana, Nibbana would be not permanent.
Right.
Nibbana would be impermanent. So there is no chitta or chaitasika or rupa in Nibbana. Nibbana is just one distinct reality.
Bhante, I wonder if the ultimate truth could be altered by conditions or by situations, circumstances. And what I'm thinking, what I have in mind is that, for example, talking about sensation experience. If I had one hand in a warm bucket of water, the other hand in a cold bucket of water, and in the middle I have just a normal temperature bucket of water, I put both hands in there. One hand in a warm bucket of water may say it's cold. The other one, which was in a cold water bucket, may feel as warm. So, and so in that case, it's sort of hard to tell sometimes what is.
Now, when you feel cold or heat, what is ultimate reality is the feeling there, not your hand. Feeling is feeling. It has the characteristic of experiencing the object. So the object may be hot or it may be cold, but you feel it, you experience it. And that experience is what we call feeling. And that feeling does not change. Feeling is feeling. Feeling of cold or feeling of heat or feeling of neither cold nor heat, something like that. But feeling is feeling, and the characteristic of feeling does not change. It cannot be changed. That is one way of explaining the ultimate truth. So, say the ultimate truths are impermanent, right? So every moment they are arising and disappearing, arising and disappearing. But even though they arise and disappear, they arise and disappear, they do not change their intrinsic nature. Say, if consciousness is the awareness of the object, it is always the awareness of the object. It does not change from that to some other thing. So that is what we call ultimate truth.
The Cetasika, you
Yes.
said that it must have the same object as the Citta,
Yes.
and I just want to make sure that the mental object is included with that. I mean, I assume it is, but
Mental object?
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure that.
And any kind of object. Yes.
Just similar to that, you can have Chaitasikas need to have Chaita to arise, right? But the other way around, can you have Chaita arise without Chaitasikas?
No. Chaita and Chaitasikas arise together, right?
They'll always rise
Yeah.
together.
They arise together at the same moment. But as I said before, only when there is Chaita can Cetasika arise together. Only when there is a kind of connection with the object, and there be the experiencing of the object, the feeling of the object, or attachment to the object, and so on. That is why they are dependent upon Chaita. But they arise at the same time. Like this, right? The sound depends upon the meeting of two hands. The meeting of two hands and the sound arise at the same time, right? But the sound depends on the meeting of these two palms, right? So we say that the sound arises because there is a meeting of the palms together. But the sound arises not after the man. Just at the moment of they are coming together, the sound is produced. So something like that. When consciousness arises, Cetasikas also arise together with consciousness.
So Chaita can't take just Chaita and an object. There will always be a mental factor, a Cetasika with it.
They are
Just have Chaita and an object.
Chaita arises only where there is an object.
And do
Right.
you always need to have Cetasika with
We do not say that Chaita needs Cetasika.
But they'll always arise together.
But they always arise together. And since the arising of Cetasikas depend upon the Chaita, we say the Cetasikas depend on Chaita. But also, although they depend on Chaita for the arising, they arise together, like the sound, like I said. You know, there is the explanation that, say, Chaitas cannot arise, Cetasikas cannot arise without Chaitas, right? The same is true to Chaita. Chaita arises with Cetasikas. Say Chaitas they do not arise alone. Whenever whenever Chaita arises, Cetasikas also arise. But it is like, say, you are doing something together, and one is a leader and the others are followers. You work together, but say you depend on the leader.
Object and the object. You must have this. You must have an object for the first thing to see something, like the seeing. To see something, there must be an object that
Oh
you
yes,
see.
yes, that is right.
That's how it's connected.
Yeah.
You can't have a leader unless you have someone following the leader.
Yes.
Yeah, why is it said that Panyati is timeless?
Yeah.
That's what
Is it also not conditioned then?
Panyati is not conditioned, and but you know, Panyati is nothing actually. it just what do you call it? Creation of our mind. So that is why we cannot say that it arises. It disappears.
Oh, it
Now, yeah, say the name Sumedha. Say many world cycles ago, Buddha was born as a hermit Sumedha, right? So that name is a Panyati. And that name, after staying for some time, went into disuse. So nobody remembers, nobody knows there was a Sumedha or something like that. Then when this Buddha appeared, then he said, oh, I was Sumedha, say so many years ago. And then people remember that name again, and then they use the name. So we cannot say that the name Sumedha always exists all the time, or say it disappeared, or it's like trying to get hold of the air.
There's no time frames.
Right. Yeah.
Not that it's perpetual by saying timeless. Timeless or perpetuity.
Timeless.
It's a no
Yeah,
time
it
frame.
out of time frame. Yeah. Yes.
I think it get a little clearer is if the concept is independent of the thought, a concept as a thought arises and passes, but a concept of itself doesn't exist.
Concept, although when we say exist, we mean that it arises and it disappears. That is what we call existence. So there are, as you know, 3 phases of existence: the arising, and then the static stage, and then disappearance. So concept, we cannot say of concept that it arises or it disappears. Although it is non-existent in that sense, still we can take it as an object.
Right.
Right? Yeah. So please bring the notes when you come. Anybody who has it's a correction to